I get it. I've been there before. You say you're gonna stop. I'm gonna stop after this joint. I'm gonna stop after this cart. I'm gonna stop tomorrow. I'm gonna throw all this stuff away. I'm gonna give it away. But then a few days go by, a week goes by, and then you're already buying more of it. It may be a shorter time span, one day, a few hours, or maybe it'll be a longer time span, like a whole month you can go without. And then you're right back on it. You're right back to buying some more. And that's because you don't know how to quit. You're telling yourself you're gonna do something, and you don't know how you're gonna do it. You're trying to follow a path, and you don't have a map in front of you. You don't plan it out. You don't come up with reasons why. And that's what I wanted to talk about today as an extension from my last video about weed. The how is in all the reasons you come up with and all the reasons you are actually doing it for, that all combine all into one big reason and one big new code that you form for yourself. And that's how you don't go back to it. That's how. So today I'm going to share 3 personal whys, and you might relate to them, on how you can actually stop smoking and how you can actually kick this habit. If it's a habit you want to kick. I'm sure if you didn't want to kick it, you wouldn't have clicked on this. But if you don't want to kick the habit, then this is not the video for you. This is the wrong video for you. And I'm not here to judge anybody, of course, for using this, for smoking, because I obviously did it. I did it for years. And I'll be the first to tell you, I enjoyed it for years. Most highs were pretty decent. I had a few bad highs, of course, like everybody, but I did enjoy it. And that's the dangerous part about that. That's the dangerous part about the whole thing, is that it's something you enjoy. It's something you want to keep doing. It's something that spikes your dopamine and gets your brain to light up. But I'm going to give you 3 reasons on how I stopped, and the third one is my favorite, so stick around for that one. And keep in mind, these 3 things are going to be different for everybody. These are just mine that helped me stop, because the how is going to be wrapped up in reasons. You have to find your why you're doing things. These are 3 whys. If you don't find a why on why you want to stop this, you're going to have a really hard time stopping it. You're not going to be able to stop it unless you have really strong whys on why you want to stop it. Because if you don't, it's going to be very easy for you to slip back right into it and just be like, oh, it's harmless. Oh, it's not that bad. I'll just keep going. I'll just do it here and there. I'll do it on the weekends only. Then it's a slippery slope from there. But if you're like me and you wanted to cut it out for a few months and you kept going back to it, you kept going back to that habit, that vice, and you couldn't kick it for a little bit until you actually found your why, which your why can be, like I said, multiple things combined into one, then you're going to have a hard time kicking this. So number 1 for me was, it's super basic, but it's health. It's for health reasons. Inhaling things in your lungs, it doesn't matter what it is, it's not good for your lungs. Our lungs are made to inhale a few certain things on this planet. Of course, we all know about oxygen. Oxygen is very important, but if you are inhaling smoke or even vapor from the carts, because I smoke carts a lot too, inhaling things into your lungs is not good for you. And I know people compare it to cigarettes all the time, but if you actually look at the lungs of long-term weed smokers, they tend to be a lot worse than if you smoke cigarettes. I mean, as far as like on a tar level or how black they are and things like that. Smokers seem to live longer, I guess, but it still doesn't change the fact that you're damaging your lungs over a period of time, and just damaging any internal organs that are vital, like breathing, is just not really a smart thing to do if you want to be on Earth for as long as you can possibly be on here for. I know I don't want to go anytime soon, and if I can do things to extend my health up into the 80s or 90s and I can still be healthy, then it makes sense for me to actually want to do that, so I can experience things for longer and do other things for as long as I can. I can watch a few generations of my family grow if I get to that age. But I've known people that have died in their 50s and 60s because they are just constantly smoking, or they're constantly drinking, but this is about weed, but they're constantly doing things to damage themselves and they don't care. You ask them about it when they're alive and they're like, oh, it's whatever, we're all gonna die anyways. And yeah, that's true, but would you rather go at 60 or would you rather go at 80? You know, that's 20 extra years for you to do stuff. And if anything is making you cough to the point to where you feel like you're going to collapse a lung, or you're going to pop a blood vessel, or you cough to get a headache or something like that, do you really think it's healthy for you? Do you think it's good for you? The answer is probably not. It's probably not good for you if it's making you cough like that nonstop. And the health reasons kind of tie into point number two, reason number two, why number two, on why I stopped and how I was able to stop. And that's the motivation and the discipline you actually gain when you stop. I don't care what anybody says, really. If you are high and you're smoking, most people are not going to be motivated to do stuff. You're going to be way more apathetic. You're going to not want to do things you should be doing. You're going to be laying around, not doing a whole bunch of anything and just eating stuff. I've been there. I've had way too many nights where I get off of work, I smoke, and then all the plans I had in that evening are out the window because the next thing I look up, it's 11 p.m. at night and I ate a whole bag of chips, a bunch of candy, and 2 meals. And I've been binge watching YouTube or something else, and the whole night just got away from me. And then it's time to go to bed at that point. And if you would smoke during the day, sometimes like I would, get a sativa or whatever, you think because it's a sativa, oh, I'll be productive. Yeah, that's true sometimes. But even when you're doing laundry and cleaning around the house and stuff, when you're high as a kite, you're still dragging yourself in a way. You're still not going to be as fluid, as functional, as cognitive as you could be if you were just sober and doing that same stuff. Even when I was smoking a sativa during the day, I would still find myself kind of dragging along with the day. I would do things slower. I would do things with not as much just pep and punch to it. But it's especially true for the other ones, the hybrids and the indicas. You don't feel like doing anything most of the time. You don't get done what you need to get done for the most part. And like I said, it's in comparison to if you were just sober completely. If you take somebody that's high as a kite and you take somebody that's sober and have them perform the same task, the person that's sober, assuming they both have the same cognitive level and the cognitive function, the person that's sober is going to run laps around the person that is high every single time in whatever task list that they're doing. Now I can do so much more stuff for way longer periods of time. I have way crazier focus. I have way more energy. I'm just stronger. I'm faster. I'm more peppy. I'm firing on all cylinders. My neurons are going crazy up in my head. You just do things way better when you don't have that cloud in you. And it also wrecks your sleep. A lot of people ignore this fact that it wrecks your sleep, but it absolutely does. If you are suppressing your REM sleep, you're not getting that deep restorative sleep that your body needs. You're robbing yourself of a lot of healing, a lot of cognitive function, and you're adding on a whole layer of brain fog that you think you don't feel. But take a break for a month and then tell me you don't feel a difference. You're gonna feel a crazy difference. You're robbing yourself from good sleep. You're robbing yourself from a lot of motivation, natural motivation, and you're robbing yourself from just getting things done all the time, for getting more done. So that reason also leads into reason number 3, and that is outside examples. Who do you look up to? Who do you really admire? Doesn't have to be somebody you know, but even better if it is. But who are people that you really look up to, that you would aspire to have some of their traits? Don't be like, because I don't think you should strive to necessarily be like people entirely, but you can pick and pull traits from a bunch of people that you really admire, because that's what I do. But write down a list of those people, and as long as they're not a rapper or something outlandish like that, chances are they don't smoke all the time, and chances are they're not high all the time to get to where they want to go, or to gain those traits that you do admire and gain those traits that you do want to have one day. We can break this down by people you know personally and people you don't know and probably will never meet, whether it's YouTubers and celebrities or just people that built companies or podcasters, whoever you look up to and you want to pull traits from. But first, with the people you know, go through your phones list and pick out all the smokers and write out all the traits that you want that they have, and write out all the traits that they have that you don't want. The lifestyles they live. Do you actually want to live the same lifestyle that they live? Because in my case, the smokers I know, I don't want to live anything like them at all. I don't want to live anything like the people that I know that smoke constantly. If you know some people that smoke and they're wildly successful and they're high as a kite all day, every day, then more power to you. That's awesome. But that's not what most of them are. Most of them are sitting around, not doing anything, and just eating and just binge scrolling something for the most part. They're more worried about their next high than their next check, or they're worried about their next check to get their next high. These people often won't have money for anything else, but they have a quarter. They have blunts every time you see them, but they don't have money for gas. They don't have money for their phone bill. They're asking for money. They're doing just things that are just stupid, to be honest with you. They're just stupid in general, but they're prioritizing a substance. They're prioritizing a drug that's just slowing them down and weighing them down. This stuff is anchors on you. Picture yourself a boat, and you're throwing anchors off the side of your boat. That's what you're doing every time you partake in something like that. And it's hard enough to steer the ship as is, because you have tides, you gotta dodge icebergs, you gotta watch out for certain things, you gotta make sure you're going in the right direction so you don't get lost out at sea somewhere. You gotta keep up on the maintenance of the boat and do all this stuff on this boat, on this ship, but you want to keep throwing anchors off the side of it. What's the good in that? What's the point in that? It doesn't make any sense. So chances are the people you know or have met that smoked, or just people that you have been acquainted with, a friend of a friend, your family member's friend, it could be anybody that you've been around just even for a short period of time. If they are a constant smoker, analyze them, see what kind of lifestyle do they have, how do they act, how do they carry themselves, what do they prioritize. If they don't align with anything you want to align with, then maybe that's a sign that you shouldn't be partaking in that substance or partaking in that thing. At least that's how I look at it. And we can also break it down on the other side, like the people you don't know, the people you look up to, the idols you have, the people that you want to pull traits from, right? 99% of wildly successful people, at least the ones that I want to pull traits from, did not smoke when they were on their way up and when they were doing the things they needed to do to get to where they are at that point. They just didn't. And I already know what you're about to say. I already know what you're thinking in your head. You have 5 names that everybody brings up. They bring up Snoop, Joe Rogan, Mike Tyson, Wiz Khalifa, Elon smoked on the podcast once. I don't want to hear about any of those people. I don't. You're not any of those people. Until you build up something that gets you rich, like how they all did, then they decided to smoke, then I don't want to even hear those names being brought up in a conversation, because it doesn't make any sense. Why are you trying to justify your habit and your vice based off of somebody else's success? You didn't even accomplish what they did. You didn't accomplish anything that they have accomplished, but you're trying to justify you smoking because they smoke after they got to where they wanted to get to, after they hit all the goals they wanted to hit. It doesn't make any sense at all. So I don't even know why people bring up those names. But go down the list of people you really admire and do some research on it. Find an interview. Chances are they probably brought it up or talked about it at least once, or there's just some common knowledge on the internet, because the internet knows weird things about people that are famous for some reason, because it's just all out there. But if you don't know, Google, does so and so smoke weed? Does so and so do drugs or something like that? And chances are, if there's somebody that built a really successful company and they are doing well, or they did something that you really admire, they weren't sitting around getting high and then they all of a sudden poofed into who you know them to be today. That's not how that works. At least I know that's true for the people that I look up to, the people who have traits that I would like to have one day, or traits that I'm working towards right now. All the people that are in my head right now, they didn't sit around smoking weed, and they didn't sit around doing drugs and just doing all that stuff when they were on their way up and when they were actually getting to where they wanted to go. So to me, that's a very clear sign that if I want to get to where I want to go, I need to cut out all distractions and cut out all substances and cut out all these things to get to where I want to go. Now, if you hit the goals you want to hit, just like I said with those few names, you hit the goals you want to hit, you get to where you want to go, and you want to spark a giant backwood, have a blast, go for it. But if you're sitting there and you're not where you want to be, and you're complaining about things in your life, in your day, but you're still smoking weed, it doesn't make any sense. Those two things just don't correlate. You need to figure one out. You either need to stop complaining about where you are right now, or stop smoking. You need to stop doing one of those two things. So just a quick little recap. My 3 whys on how I was able to stop are: 1 is health, 2 is the motivation and the drive to do things, and 3 is the external people and external examples that I have that I want to aspire to be like or pull traits from. So those 3 whys combined is enough gas for me to stop, enough gas for me to not want to anymore. I have urges every once in a while, but once I'm reminded of those 3 whys, I don't want to. And that's why the whys are so important. When you have legitimate reasons and whys on why you're doing something, it's a lot easier for you to not do that thing. Because like I said at the start of this, you can't just say you're going to stop smoking and then not have any reasons on why you're going to stop, because you're probably going to be smoking very shortly after that if you don't sit down and figure out some real whys on why you're doing this, and wrap those whys in a big howl blanket and keep it somewhere. And that's how you stop smoking. That's how I stopped, at least. But I figured I'd make this video because the last one about weed slowing you down got a little bit of traction. Some of you liked it, so thank you for that. That's cool. So I figured I would do a little extension to that and not just talk about how it slows you down, but talk about how I stopped and give a little bit of context in that, because I think that's really important too. Because just talking about how it slows you down doesn't really help you stop it if you want to stop it, you know? So if you got this far, my name is TJ. If you found this helpful, consider hitting that like, consider subscribing, and comment below if you plan on stopping. What are your whys? And just comment them down below. I want to hear about them. Maybe I'll take some of your whys and I'll add them to mine, and then we'll just all stack them together. Let's just talk about it, because you can add on to your whys all the time. You can have a list of 50 whys if you want to. There's no cap to it. I just have 3 main ones. So comment that down below, and I got more stuff on the way. Comment what you want to hear about down below, and I'm out of here. I'll see y'all.